Hi, everybody. Karen Roby and Daphne Leprince-Ringuet for ZDNet talking today about the how the internet is handling all of the increased traffic. Of course, with people working from home, kids are doing their schoolwork online now. So this is a very different situation than what we've faced before. Daphne, I guess the first question here right out of the gate is with more traffic, how is the internet coping with the demand?
Well, actually, pretty well. As you said, there's a lot more people working from home. There's a lot more skills out of kids out of schools, and that means that the demand in traffic and in access to domestic broadband has increased quite significantly in the last few weeks. So here in the UK, for example, Virgin has reported a jump in 95% in upstream traffic during the day. BT has reported up to 60% more demand during the time as well. So across all broadband providers, there's consensus that there is more demand. Now, what all the broadband providers have been saying as well is that the networks are actually built to support the surge in demand. Typically, networks are built to support evening peaks, which are the peaks when we come back from work, and we use data-intense applications like streaming or social media scrolling or gaming and things like that. And those applications, they generate a lot more traffic than work applications like email or Zoom and things like that. So the networks are actually built to support those evening peaks, which are sometimes 10 times more than the traffic we see in the daytime. And what's more, the surge is happening during the daytime, during the time that we're usually in the office, which means that it's happening at a time when the networks are typically a lot slower, or not slower, but a lot quieter. And there's a lot more scope for more demand to come in. So generally speaking, the trend there has been that, yes, there's been a huge spike in demand and it's very, very visible, but the networks are built to support that demand in the near future. And all of the broadband providers, generally speaking, have said that they're not very worried about the resilience of their networks to make sure that we can still have access to the internet.
So this is more something I think, or it sounds like that people are concerned about just because we think that this would be an issue, but it's really not going to be.
Well, the issue is more about making sure that the customers are able to access Wi-Fi without interruption, more so than whether the networks are able to sustain the demand. So obviously, say if you're a customer who's paying for a lower cost broadband plan because you're usually working in an office, you don't want to find yourself suddenly cut off from the internet because you're using more data than you usually do. Similarly, with coronavirus obviously impacting all aspects of the economy and all different verticals, a lot of jobs are being impacted, a lot of people are maybe struggling to make ends meet. Are struggling to pay their bills. So the focus for broadband providers really is to make sure that those customers are not suddenly cut off from the internet or end up with huge excess fees. So some providers have already taken steps to make sure that doesn't happen. For example, BT has lifted data caps on all of its plans. Virgin and Sky have given an extra 10 gigabit of data to some of their customers. And in the States, some companies have gone even further by, for example, waiving late fees or even offering free broadband. So in the States, some companies are giving free broadband to some sections of the population which they consider to be more vulnerable. So that obviously has started a debate here in the UK about whether we should provide more free broadband for vulnerable customers. Broadband providers here have been a bit more reluctant to this idea. And speaking to various different experts, it seems to be a consensus as well that we should try and keep money flowing in the economy in as normal a way as possible. So if you're a customer and you can still pay your bills, you should still be paying your broadband bills, so that companies can then be paying their employees in a normal way as well. So it's not looking like free broadband is going to be a reality just now, but it's definitely a debate and a trend worth keeping an eye on.
All right, some great information there, Daphne. Thank you so much for that. I know you've got a full article up on ZDNet for this and the impacts, of course, around the world and how everyone is dealing with it, especially in light, again, with everyone working from home and kids being home as well. So make sure you check that out again on ZDNet. Thanks for watching.